Hello, everyone on, all my panelists.
We are all
Awesome.
here, and you just let me know when you're ready for me to share the screen.
Okay, sounds good. I was going to go ahead and first introduce everyone. And I have my notes, so I have to do my cheat sheeting here. Welcome, Amy Mallinson, Business Development Manager for Langley Federal Credit Union, and Laurel Ramey, Foundation and Events Director, also for Langley Federal Credit Union, who will be talking about opportunities for teachers to apply for grants and classroom assistance. And then Karen London, who is Family and Consumer Services Extension Agent with Virginia Cooperative Extension, representing Bank on Virginia Beach, Department of Human Resources, will also give a presentation on the importance of saving, budgeting, understanding how credit works, and identity theft. And we are taking live questions, so if there's somebody that goes ahead and types into the chat section, that's fine. And I'm going to close my visual so you guys can take over.
Thank you. Make sure we're sharing screen too. And can everybody go ahead and see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're going to go ahead and start off with Laurel Ramey, and she's going to share a little bit about what's happening with the changes coming up and all the great opportunities that are going to be available now for folks in Virginia Beach.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us, and thanks for taking some time out of your evening to let us share some updates with you. So Langley Federal Credit Union and Virginia Beach Schools Federal Credit Union merged as of November 1st. It is an ongoing process that will be officially final from point to point in the middle of April. But we are excited about the opportunity that this merger brings from Langley's perspective and from Virginia Beach Schools' perspective. A lot of shared values that include supporting education for children and families in Virginia Beach schools. I'm looking forward to making a positive impact with both entities and really leveraging what each can bring to the table. So my role at the credit union is focused on community impact, charitable giving, volunteering. So I'm going to share a couple pieces of those and how they might impact families in Virginia Beach. So first and foremost, I want to reiterate Langley's commitment and passion for the community. As with really any credit union, we are established by members for members. And so that is kept at the forefront of everything that we do, from the tellers up to our CEO, Tom Ryan. Our credit union in its charitable giving prioritizes education and health for our members and the communities in which they live, work, and play. So in 2021, Langley contributed a combined charitable giving in excess of $1.5 million. So that's a number we're really proud of and looking forward to continue to growing and sharing that impact in Virginia Beach. So as the bullets here highlight, credit union donations fund high school senior scholarships, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about, collegiate scholarships, our teacher mini grants, which I will also tell you more about, access to health initiatives, mental health, and employee volunteer initiatives. So supporting efforts or volunteer activities that our employees get involved in. So we have offered to any Langley member, a graduating high school senior, we call the Jean M. Yoakum College Scholarship, and that is named after our former CEO. She was a trailblazer in her time, and this scholarship really embodies that perseverance and hardworking attitude. So these are awarded to successful applicants who, as I mentioned, are Langley members. This is also extended to Virginia Beach Schools Federal Credit Union members as we finish up this merge in April. They are awarded in the May timeframe. The application is open right now, though. Awarded based on academic performance, community involvement, and personal essay also. So this application is available online, langleyfcu.org. We will share the link in the chat when I finish this portion of the presentation. The deadline is April 4th. And it is all done through the Peninsula Community Foundation. But again, the links will be sure to share. We will be awarding 6 applicants this year, each at the $5,000 level. And we're excited to see that increase from 4 to 6 winners. We also offer scholarships through partnerships with local universities and colleges. You can see the 4 listed there: the College of William and Mary, Old Dominion University, Hampton University, and Christopher Newport University. These are all awarded through the schools. So to get those scholarships, you would have to go through the university or college. Our teacher mini grants program. This one is fun. I think it's a little bit different from what others might be doing in the community. So we have been doing this for a little over a decade. Up to 30 teachers are selected to receive a $500 award, and it's a very simple application process, like a series of 5, maybe 4 questions that's all done again online and designed to support their classrooms. So a new or existing initiative that might need a little bit extra effort. So things like creating a reading nook in a corner, or one of my favorite examples was a 5th grade teacher who requested funds for a 3D printer, and her classroom designed a series of doll houses. And then they walked the doll houses down to the kindergarten classroom and got to see kind of full circle creating something, and then the end product being actually utilized. So this is open to any and all educators in the Hampton Roads area, K through 12, public school, private school, and we are looking forward to increasing the presence of Virginia Beach Schools teachers in this opportunity. This is awarded in the fall timeframe, right before school, so the application opens up in August. And this is accessible from the exact same link where you would access the Yoakum Senior Scholarship. So we will reference that in the chat as well. And lastly, I want to tell you about our Langley for Families Foundation. In our spirit of commitment to the community, we didn't want our impact to be dictated by the credit union's success on a year-to-year basis. So we have established in 2014 the Langley for Families Foundation. And the foundation does its own fundraising practices, events, activities that anybody can participate in. And 100% of what comes into the foundation gets donated out to local nonprofits in the Hampton Roads, making a difference in those 3 core program areas: healthcare, housing and human services, and access to education. We refer to it as the charitable arm of the credit union, but it is a separate entity. It's a registered 501c3 organization, which is just the tax code for nonprofits. And we are thrilled that in 2021, we donated for the first time over $1 million from the foundation alone. And that's done through the help of and commitment from our members and our employees. And I wanted to share this quote from our president and CEO, Tom Ryan, who's pictured here. Langley for Families Foundation allows us to make a difference in the lives of families throughout Hampton Roads by providing basic needs for those most in need, like shelter, food, and education. Meeting the $1 million milestone is a huge accomplishment for our team and our members. And I just wanted to share that Tom is someone who leads with immense dedication to the community and to doing the right thing. In addition to his role at the credit union, he's also a board member on our foundation. And we are very enthusiastic about the privilege to continue Virginia Beach Schools Federal Credit Union's legacy and partnership with Virginia Beach Schools through these existing Langley initiatives, and who knows what else can come out of this.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to pass it over to you. So thank you for letting me take some time, and I will hand it over to Amy Mallinson.
Thank you, Laurel. Thank you, Laurel. So one of the big passions that we've always had, and for a long time, for at least 20 years, we've been working with the school system and working with young people and making sure that they were financially savvy, they had all the tools they needed to go out and make good decisions. We've done that through guest speaking, tours of the credit union. We do a summer camp called Camp Millionaire for middle school kids. So what we want to do today was to share with you some of the things that we're doing out in the classroom, because a lot of it's replicable in your house. Like if you wanted to get more involved in talking about money with your young people and, sharing some things, these are all things that you can do at home too with your kids that are fun and make a lot of sense. So talked a little bit here. We go K through 12. So if any of our teachers and have over the years called and said, hey, Amy, my kids are struggling with coin identification, or hey, my kids really want to learn more about budgeting and how that works. A lot of times we custom make lessons that we come out and talk to the kids about, just really go off of what the teacher's needs are. and then try to make sure that we're bringing value to the kids and everybody gets to go home with something. So these are some highlights that I put out. And again, these slides would be available to anybody who's interested. And of course, I'm available to have any kind of off Zoom conversations with about them so we could share. But my mother's an English professor. I grew up reading. Reading is super important. I like to tie it back to all of our economic-based lessons. So these are some examples of books that we read when we go out into the schools that you can read at home too. A Chair from My Mother is a lovely book. It talks about a family who went through a struggle. Their apartment burnt down, and they had to save up their money to start replacing items in their house. And one of the things that the mother did was got a big, huge clear glass jar. And every time that she came up with extra change that she found or that she had from, work or something, they would put the change into that big jar. And what is really powerful about that lesson is it's a visual. As we all know, young children especially, they need that visual to help them stay focused and keeping it forefront and center. So if there's something that the kids, your kids have talked about, oh, I really wish we could buy this or buy that, go get that big jar. We have so many great thrift stores in Virginia Beach. Go to the thrift store, try to find a big pickle jar or something, and then encourage them every time you find change somewhere, or going through the couch or walking down the street, take that change home and keep putting it in the jar until it's full. They really enjoy that. They can decorate the jar themselves, put what they're saving for. And then when the jar gets full, being able to separate all the coins and count them together as a family, that's, sharing again the importance of all the work that you did to save, and then counting them and rolling them again is that fantastic activity in math. It's a Habit, Sammy Rabbit. We have free curriculum on that I can share with anybody, but it's a coloring book. And so you're talking about this really cute little rabbit who's, learning how to save and why it's important to become a habit. And that's one of the big things we see even with adults is overcommit. With savings, it's all about the habit. Even if it's just a quarter every time your child gets their allowance and you're driving your child to your bank or credit union and they're depositing that quarter into their savings account, and you're teaching them how to write in a checkbook register or deposit register, adding that 25 cents in, that really drives the point home about how important saving is and a habit. And it's a fun thing to do. Take your child, make that quarter deposit. It doesn't matter it's not about how much money, it's about the consistent habit. And then, go out and have ice cream after and make it a celebratory thing. And what you're doing there is you're making savings fun and you're making them understand how important it is. Dragon Decides is another fun book that we do. The book actually comes through the Virginia Council on Economic Education. And if you're not familiar with their website, it's fantastic. They have so many free resources out there. And that talks about the, different types of natural resources, versus economic resources and having those conversations. The trade and bartering game is really a fun group activity where you're talking about, how satisfied are you with what you have versus when you see, I would call it keeping up with the Joneses, what somebody else may have. And what we do is we go to the dollar store and get a bunch of random things and put different items in different paper bags. And we pass them out to the kids. The kids will look in their bag and get all excited, but we say, don't tell anybody what you have in your bag. And then we have them think about, do you really like everything in your bag, or is there one item in there that you're just not very excited about? And we let them pull that one item out of their bag, and we let them trade with one person. We talk a little bit about trading and bartering, and we talk about value, because where I love Tootsie Rolls, the person I'm trading with may prefer peanut butter cups. And so they want to trade a Tootsie Roll for their peanut butter cup. So we get to talk about why it's important. Money was developed in trading and bartering. Works sometimes, but it's not a perfect fit. And where a dollar is worth the same whether you're here or whether you're in Florida, and why the money came along and why it was important. And of course, M&M budgeting game. You guys know, I'm sure you bought yourselves the packet of M&Ms. Now, if you were ever to take that packet of M&Ms and divide it all up by color, you don't have the same amount in every packet. In one packet of M&Ms, you may have 5 red ones. In another packet, you may have 10 red ones. So what we do with that is we give the kids a package of M&Ms, and every M&M is worth $5. And every color represents a different type of bill you may have to pay. And what we do is we find out, and then some of the colors, represent income. So what we do is we ask them, okay, how much income did you have versus how much expense? And were you in the black or in the red? So we do it with 4th graders, and you may say that seems a little bit mature, but they love it, and you're really driving home in a fun way income versus expense. And again, this is all information that we can share. You just have to reach out. Now, if you're looking for a fun activity, again, to do with a group of kids, we do partner with a lot of the PTAs in the elementary schools. We go to Girl Scouts, Boy Scout groups, etc. And through a partnership with the Virginia Cooperative Extension, we do a real life simulation of what it's like to be a grown-up and have to pay bills. So what we do is in a cafeteria, we set up different booths, and every booth represents a different bill that an adult have to pay, like a house or a car or groceries. We give the kids a job and some money. Then we actually give them paper money, like fake paper money, and they have to go around and pay their bills and write and keep a tally of how much money they're spending. This is a really fun activity to do with your young person because you can kind of tag along and see their decision making and really have fun. I mean, it's a fun conversation after they go through the activity of why they made the decisions they did. We do it, with kindergarten through 5th graders. Obviously, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders can do it independently. The littler ones need a mom or a dad or grandma or grandpa to come with them. But it's very eye-opening, and they don't forget about it. On that same realm is a reality store simulations. We do these in the high schools, again, with a partnership with the Virginia Cooperative Extension. And it's like the kids marketplace, but it goes very deep. We stress them out in different ways. The type of bills they have to pay mirror very much the bills that adults have to pay. We give them a job. But we also give them a level of education. And we also give them, some of them have children, some of them don't, some of them are married, and their education level is tied back to the income that we give them to go around and pay all these bills. So it really encouraged them to get further education after high school, not necessarily college, but additional education, and then life choices. They a lot of times they leave these simulations and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea how much my parents paid for me for health insurance or how much groceries cost. So if you're a high school student and any of the teachers, hey, we need help with volunteers to help run a reality store, I really encourage you to jump in and do that because it's a lot of fun. The kids really enjoy it, and it really drives the point home of what it does cost to live independently. And of course, Camp Millionaire. Camp Millionaire is, it's a summer camp that we do in cooperation with the Virginia Cooperative Extension, along with several different credit unions. And so it takes Kid Marketplace and really, really, really dives deeper than Kids Marketplace and even Reality Store, because they are in with us from 9 to 4 o'clock every day. And we have, actually, Karen, you might want to talk about this if we have time at the end, because we just had a meeting today to discuss it. We're going to be holding it in July. It's open to rising 7th and 8th graders. And by the time Friday comes around, they've learned everything they need to know to become a millionaire someday. We have a financial advisor that comes in and shares some information with them, and just make it fun. It's very interactive. We take them inside, we're outside, we're playing a lot of games, but the amount of education they get in just 5 days is more than what a lot of people learn in a college class. So it's a lot of fun. Now, if you're looking for some extra things to do at home, I encourage you to go to moonjar.com. Moonjar offers lessons and plans and books that you can get, and they're kind of like a piggy bank, but cooler, because their piggy banks are broken up into 3 sections: save, spend, and share. And they also come with a deposit log to every time you put money in one of those sections, you record it in your deposit log. And so that way you always have a tally of how much is in each side of the box. You know, it's so important to save. You know, we know that you're going to spend, but we want to make sure you're making spending decisions wisely. And sharing, of course, is so important, is that, you know, when we're contributing in some way to a local charity or an organization, or even, you know, giving back to our schools and such. So cementing that in when they're young is really helpful. And then this is the big thing. A lot of times parents will say to me, but Amy, you know, they're driving me nuts. Every time we go to the grocery store, they're screaming and yelling, buy me something, buy me something. Or we go anywhere and they just want me to spend all this money. How do I get this under control? Well, one of the things that I did when my kids were little is that I used cash. Now, I know you're saying, but debit cards are so much easier, but that's true, but it doesn't, the kids think that it's just a piece of plastic and you just keep using it and you buy things, then it's never ending. But when you have cash, it's limited. So one of the things that we agreed upon as a family, I had a certain amount of money for entertainment. And I sat my kids down, I said, okay, this is how much money we have for entertainment. For the next 2 weeks. These are things that we could do with this money. What would you like to do? And so I put the onus, the burden back on the kids. And so I would say, okay, if we all go out to the movies and get something to eat, it's going to cost this, and then we only have this amount left. Is that okay with you? And so when we ran out of money, they knew it immediately. And then they weren't screaming and yelling and, hey, why don't you buy me this? Or why can't we go here? Because I said, guys, we made the decision as a family. We spent the money, we all agreed on what we were spending it on, and that is all we have for now. Go read a book. And again, it took a little bit. My kids were young, they were elementary school, we started that process, but they caught on pretty quick. And it really helped them understand money is a limited resource and that plastic card is tied to a bank account, but there's definitely a limit to how much we're doing here. And then, of course, Monopoly. And how hopefully you guys have a Monopoly game at home. They come in all different sizes nowadays. There's so many different types of Monopolies that you can get. But it's there for a reason. It really teaches the kids a lot about money. You're counting the money, you're doing the math. There's a little competitive advantage in there. And they really do like it. It's old school, but it is a lot of fun. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn the baton over to Karen Munden, who's going to talk to you about Bank On and adult programs that are available in the city of Virginia Beach. You're on mute, Karen.
You hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. Go ahead. What's the next? When I talk about Bank On, is a national organization with over 95 coalitions across the United States. Bank On was organized to help individuals improve their financial skills. Another goal was to connect unbanked and underbanked individuals to financial institutions with special banking needs. Bank On started in Virginia Beach in 2012 and later spread to the cities of Chesapeake and Norfolk. So this year we're celebrating 10 years of Hampton Road, Bank On in the Hampton Roads area. Bank On Hampton Roads is a volunteer coalition that consists of financial institutions, community groups, faith-based organizations, and higher education institutions. Bank On Hampton Roads is open to anyone who want to improve their financial skills and knowledge. There is no income restrictions to enroll in Bank On.
Okay, let me know if we're going to go ahead and play a short testimonial for you so you can learn a little bit more about Bank On. If you can't hear it, Karen, please make sure you buzz me. I may need to reshare the screen, okay? And
you can easily train yourself to listen faster.
Let's go ahead and
We can
skip
hear you.
ad.
Before I took Bank
Can you hear
On,
it?
my
Yes,
financial
enlarge the screen.
situation was horrible. I was too afraid to check my credit score. I know I needed help, and I no longer wanted to be told no, whenever I wanted to apply for anything. I needed a transition in my life, and I felt like Bank On was the way for me to get there. I was expecting to raise my credit score. I was expecting to hopefully be able to purchase a home in Norfolk. Every time I came to the class, there was an aha moment. Every class was a learning experience. The homework benefit because when you have to do your research, you learn better, you retain better. I actually would jump ahead of the class just to be able to have my homework done in advance. It was just so exciting. The coach is a needed process. You need that coach. I actually had to account for almost down to the penny with him. So it made a big difference. If I didn't have to do that, I would have been shopping. I would have been doing other things and making excuses. But he held me accountable, so that made the difference. That's the wonderful part about this. It's not about spending, how much you can spend, it's how much you can save. And I love it. I have no debt and I'm saving money. It's a blessing. I've taken a finance class in college, but it was nothing compared to this. Anybody that's over the age of 18 needs to take this class. Everybody that's opening up a bank account should be taking this class. It's a must. This should be on the must list.
Thank you, Amy. We can continue on.
Oh,
Amy, stop your.
sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Bank on Hampton Roads use a combination of classroom instructions and one-on-one coaching to help individuals become financially empowered and feel more confident in making sound decisions. You will learn strategies to alleviate the stress associated with living from paycheck to paycheck, as well as methods to reduce debt and increase your saving. Your financial coach will assist you with building financial plans centered around your plans, your goals, and your dreams. Bank on Hampton Roads is a 5-month financial program where you are required to attend one class per month and meet with a professional financial coach, a one-on-one once per month. The program is offered twice a year. We have a session that started actually this month in February, and the second session will begin in September. Generally, there are about 5 classes going during the same time. So if you enrolled in a class and cannot attend that class, you have 4 other opportunities to attend the class. Our Hampton Roads Bank On classes are generally 2 hours and they're from 6 to 8 p.m. However, we have at least one class on Saturdays. Individuals who sign up for the Bank On program, they could increase their income, increase the savings, reduce and get out of debt, increase your credit score, develop and implement spending plans, as well as protect your assets from scams and identification theft. Also, the Bank On program is completely free to all individuals who would like to participate. So if you're interested in the Bank On program, you can visit our website, which is www.bankonhr.org, or you could contact Anita Wench at 757-943-9652 to learn more information. But until that time, please visit the website. We have different types of resources on the website. We have things pertaining to wills, pertaining to medical information and documents and papers. As the individual stated, Bank On should be on everyone's list. And Amy, I would turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Karen. Bank on Hampton Roads, like Karen was saying, has been around for almost over 10 years. And it began back during the start of the Great Recession, where some of the city leaders in Virginia Beach, saw that there was some very bad things happening. A lot of people were struggling, and they pulled everybody together and said, we need to do something to help our people. We need to provide some type of support, help folks go through, that are going through this really hard time. And so those city leaders reached out to Bank On, which isn't part of a national coalition of partners across the United States, and had conversations with the Bank On program national, and discovered that it would be a really great fit for Virginia Beach. And then from there, it expanded out into several different cities. We have Bank Ons in Chesapeake, we have Bank On in Norfolk, and there are some other cities that have been interested in it. One of the benefits to Bank On is, even though we have live classes, we also have virtual classes, so we can really entertain folks from anywhere in the country. One of the big things, and that we talk about this a lot during Bank On, is accountability. One of the things during the first couple classes, we talk about who's your accountability partner. Who are you taking this class with? Someone else, either with a spouse or a good friend, or another family member. Helps you have somebody to talk to about it, and bounce ideas off of each other, and then hold each other accountable as we're going through the program. Not every Bank On program across the United States has a financial education component. That is very special to Hampton Roads. Not everybody offers that, and the curriculum is built and continuously reviewed and updated to address different things happening out in our economic sphere, to make sure we're really giving all of the adults taking the class the information they need to be successful in their own personal finance. I mean, this isn't a class like economics that you take in college or anything. This is a true personal finance program, to where you're getting the tools that you need to be successful in your own situation, and learn how to pay off debt, learn how to pay it off the right way. And it's a slow process. And Karen can tell you, it's not something that happens overnight. A lot of times you'll see those, fix your credit score quick schemes, and that's what they are, isn't it, Karen? They're all schemes. There's no easy fix to get your credit score from a 550 to a 750. It takes time and commitment, and it's a behavior change. You really have to be committed to, I want to make a change for myself and for my family. And we give you the tools. Bank On gives you the tools to do that. Now, there's different banks and credit unions that support Bank On, and that offer coaches and help through this program. So I really encourage everybody to take a look at it. And for 5 months, you're going to a few classes, you meet with a coach who helps you through some of the processes in this. And, just like in the testimonial that we showed you, it's incredibly powerful. And I can, a lot of these folks too, after they go through the program and get their personal finance situation, it's almost like that monkey that's sitting on your back that's causing you stress and anxiety is gone, because you're finally taught the tools. Now, we're very lucky, and I see this in school all the time, is that many of the Virginia Beach City Public Schools, their middle schools, offer a 7th grade personal finance class. It's a 9-week elective, and it's a fantastic class. And the other thing that Virginia Beach City Public Schools did several years ago is that they created a personal finance, financial management class that all students have to take for graduation requirements. So if you don't have high school student yet, but they're on their way up, you can rest assured they're going to get a half a semester of financial management class, and they actually have to take a WISE certification test at the end to pass it. And then the other half of that program is an economics class. It's very robust. It's fantastic. I've met personally most of the teachers that teach the program, and they're very passionate about empowering your students to have all the skills, or at least know where to go, so they can get the information they need to be successful once they're out on their own. And I'm just very proud of all those teachers and the school system for making it such a priority, because there's so much with hitting our kids nowadays, and everything that they need to learn. And the more that, at least resources that we can provide to them, the more successful they're going to be here in Virginia Beach and in their travels. I mean, hopefully they're all going to stay here and get jobs in our local economy. But if they do, they're going to be okay. And that's a very, very powerful thing. And our teachers are working so hard to provide all those opportunities for them. And it's been a great time. I really enjoy them. The kids are fantastic when we're out doing reality store simulations with them. Even in the 20 years I've been running these programs, the kids now are so much smarter and they're making such better decisions than what I saw 20 years ago when I first started going out into the schools and working with the students. So congratulations to the parents out there too. The things that you're doing with them is definitely making a big difference. So I guess what we're going to do now is open the chat, and if there is additional questions or concerns or anything that we can answer to any of the participants. Laurel and my contact information is up on the screen too, but again, we're happy to share this presentation with anyone. We'll go ahead and pull the chat open, and Laurel has shared those links, so thank you, Laurel. And if anybody has any questions about any of the programs that we talked about or the scholarship, please feel free to put it in the chat. We're here for you. Are you good? Oh, Camp Millionaire.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and bring that up. Karen, do you happen to have that in front of you?
I can talk about Camp Millionaire.
Okay.
Camp Millionaire is open for, as Amy stated, for rising 7th and 8th graders. The individuals will come down to the location, which is at the Municipal Center, and we would meet with the young people. We have games, and we with the different types of financial concepts and principles, we put them in games so they will kind of understand, so it's not just lecturing all the time. And students are able to work with one another. By the end of the week, they will be putting on skits and dream boards, or we set goal boards to show the parents what they have learned. But we have all different topics, such as credit topics. We have income. We look at passive income, earned income. We look at investing. There are topics of saving, and as Amy stated, with the money jars, so all the different types of all the different concepts and principles of finances, we go over it, but we make it in a fun way so they can remember it. And they do very well on the SOLs.
That is true, and I was going to go ahead and share a link. We do have, now this is a few years old, but we do have let me go ahead and pause this real quick, and I'll go ahead and can you see the screen, Karen?
Yes.
Can you see okay, so we'll go ahead and
wait a minute, don't click it right there. Wait a minute.
Okay.
We will be, applications will be coming out soon. We just met today, and we're hoping to get the applications out within the next 2 weeks. I believe Amy is the individual that send them to the schools. Amy, is that correct?
I'll go ahead and send them out. I send them to all the middle schools, and if your student's an Avid, I work with a lot of the Avid teachers to get it out. But the paperwork will also be available. I do believe you put it on the Cooperative Extension website for the City of Virginia Beach, so it will be on there. And either that, or if you email, Karen, would you put your email address in the chat too? If you email one of us, we'd be happy to as soon as it's prepared. We're looking to do the week of July 18th to the 22nd, so it is a Monday through Friday. We do ask that your student attends all 5 days because, as Karen was talking about, a lot of the learning is collaborative, and we do put the students into groups for learning purposes, and they work out some things they show off at graduation for the parents. But we're going to go ahead and show you a little clip from one of the lessons that we do with the kids that is super fun. And this is a couple years old, but you can kind of understand a little bit about some fun
Enlarge your
things that we're
screen
doing.
too. Enlarge your screen,
Okay.
Amy.
All right, and here we go.
I can't hear it. Go back and share.
Okay.
Oh, you had it muted. You had.
Yep. Okay. And
what does it take to become a millionaire these days? Well, for starters, it's learning how to manage money. And 2 credit unions have joined forces with the Virginia Cooperative Extension to help kids learn the value of a buck.
Tell me what an investor is.
It's when your money makes other money.
It's called Camp Millionaire.
I went to the different credit unions, which was the Virginia Beach Federal School Credit Union, as well as Beach Municipal Federal Credit Union. Thought that this would be a good idea for students to learn all the facets about money. So over the last 5 years, we've come together and we taught this curriculum in a very fun, active way.
Okay, this is easy.
All right.
The program uses memorable lessons to cover the secrets of savings, the basics of budgeting, the dangers of debt, and the ins and outs of investing.
What we do with Camp Millionaire is teach these young people about how to be savvy with their money. We want them to grow up knowing about saving, investing, budgeting, how to manage their checking account. And it might sound a little bit boring the week after school lets out, but it's in a camp environment. So these kids are up, they're down, they're playing games. We have them inside, we have them outside. And it's just a wonderful experience for these kids.
They may not be the next Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, or Thurston Howell III, but for these students, Camp Millionaire is a step to keeping money in their pocket.
I learned about financial freedom, which is you're free from debt and you don't owe anybody anything. I can start saving up my money to buy like important things, and I can donate more money to the charity. Like I can start donating money to good causes, and I can start like spending my money on wise things, like be a wise spender.
And the bottom line?
The whole purpose of Camp Millionaire is to make sure when these kids get 20 bucks in their pocket for their birthday or for the holidays, they have a plan, because we teach them how to control their money so their money doesn't control them.
Camp Millionaire is offered each.
Okay, so most of you guys could see it's definitely now, obviously it's going to look a little bit different now because we have to maintain more social distancing and such with everything going on. But you can see the kids are having fun, and they do really have a good time, and the amount of education and learning that goes into the fun lessons that we teach them is invaluable. And it's fun because we'll run into the kids, years down the line, and they'll, it's the camp people, and they'll share usually some of the lessons they remember. Again, it's a little bit of an unusual. Most kids are thinking about going horseback riding or those types of things, not learning about money and how to be a millionaire someday. But it's been a good time, and we've been doing these camps. Gosh, how many years have we been doing these camps, Karen?
I believe we did it for 10 years prior to 2019. So we're on our 11th or 12th year.
Okay. So we hope that, I know we're finishing a little bit early, unless we have any more questions out of the chat, we can give you some of your Thursday night back. Unless Miss Debbie has any questions or anything else that she'd like us to cover tonight.
No, I think that you guys covered a wide range of information, and I think the participants have a lot in their tool belts when it comes to managing finances or enticing their children to learn how to manage their finances. But certainly, we really appreciate your time. One of the people that is participating asked, when is the deadline to apply? I know, Amy, you've got Ashley's email address so that you can send her the application. When is the deadline?
The deadline for applications is going to be June 3rd. So we're working right now on getting all the applications available. So we're hoping in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to start distributing the applications. So if you want to email me or Karen, or if you want to throw your email in the chat, I'll make sure to collect it, and we'll Okay, and then we'll go ahead and make sure that it gets out to you right away. And again, we really enjoyed seeing you all tonight and participating in this program, because we really believe in financial education and the commitment to the community, and we all really need to work together to make sure that our kids and our adults have access to all the information they need to make good decisions, financial decisions.
I also just wanted to interject. This sounds like that all three of you have really collaborated in a great partnership. I noticed also Beach Municipal Federal Credit Union Beach Municipal Federal Credit Union was involved. So thank you so much for looking out for our kids and our families and participating tonight in this Family Connection webinar. We hope that the participants got a lot out of it. We recorded the session, so if you wanted to share it with someone, we can share. It should be live tomorrow and available. Just you can email any of us and we'll make sure it happens. Thanks again. Thanks, Amy, and thank you, Karen, and thank you, Laurel.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
It was a pleasure to be with you guys tonight. And thank you, Laurel.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye,
Great.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.